Welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for Friday, January 10th, 2014. I may have some issues with my Mac today because it never performs as badly as when I have MacKeeper ads on pages, and I noticed a couple today. So thanks, MacKeeper, for gumming up my Mac. This article, however, is worth a little trouble. Time Swampland. Congress is now mostly a millionaires club. For the first time, more than half of congressional lawmakers are worth at least $1 million. And there's another very interesting little bit of information that is in the form of a tweet from ZeroHedge. 74 members of Congress own GE stock, 58 own Wells Fargo, 51 own Bank of America, and 49 own JP Morgan. So this shows us possibly where some of their money is coming from, right? And this is not what the Founding Fathers intended for the Congress, and I don't think it's what most of us want for the Congress. So we'll be thinking about this as we move toward the next elections, and also as we pray for restoration of a constitutional republic. And here's an article from the Telegraph. Dozens of fire stations face closure. I believe this article was from December, but I mention it because of something that Max Keiser tweeted. I had not heard of this. Almost 70 fire stations in England are at risk of closure, and scores more throughout the UK face severe downgrading if the government presses ahead with unprecedented spending cuts, union leaders have warned. Now, we're all for spending cuts, right? But if something impacts directly upon the safety of the people living in a nation, is this a good idea, this kind of a spending cut? And this was the tweet from Max Keiser that alerted me to this. Max Keiser, the point of firehouse closures is to destroy what little dignity Brits had. Yellow armbands with stars of David coming next. And what he's communicating, and really what the closures are communicating, is that the people of England really do not have that much value to their government. And of course, this is not unique to England. We are all feeling this way, especially in America right now, with the issue of the radiation rising. And whether it is due to Fukushima or not, the radiation definitely has been rising. We have kept track on a map. I'll include the link in my notes, but I think the name of the site is Radiation Network. And it's just individuals who own Geiger counters and are part of a network who report in what the radiation levels are in the country. And before Fukushima, I looked, and there were a lot of single digits in the country. And as time has gone by, virtually every place in the country has double digits. And some places, even in like Colorado, not on the coast, but some places are as high as 44. I think the California coast, San Francisco, when Alex Jones was talking about it, what it rated on the radiation network was like a 63. So definitely higher radiation levels, and nobody seems to care. And that is the government is not protecting us, and the government of England is not protecting them. Now, I don't want government to be my mommy and daddy. I don't want protection for things that I handle on my own. But the Constitution does grant powers to the U.S. government to extend defensive mechanisms that protect the people from things that are outside the scope of our lives, which is assumed to be attacks from other countries. But something like the radiation going up, I do believe that needs to be addressed on a large scale. Now, if people can band together and find out what's going on and demand changes, cool. And in this country, firehouses are more of a local issue and under local control. I'm not sure how that works in England. But again, the point is what Max said. The point of firehouse closures is to destroy what little dignity Brits had and give us our dignity. You know, we have value as people, and we're not cattle and we're not chattel. So, you know, we're living people. So respect us. Here from above top secret is just a little bit of news. More bad news for Target shoppers. Hacked credit card numbers now on the black market. So if you shopped at Target over the holiday season, you might want to learn some details on this. Get with your bank. Find out if your number is in danger and just have them send you a new card. It's really not that big of a deal. And they don't want you to be defrauded either, because, of course, if somebody makes fraudulent charges to your account and you're aware of it and you report it, it gets taken off. So just a heads up. Check things out. Take care of yourselves where you can. Be aware. And here, thank you, is another MacKeeper ad. So that will explain if this recording has little gaps in it. The audio's not quite right. Thanks to MacKeeper for that. But here is an article from cnsnews.com. In 2013, regulations cost Americans $447 million each day the government was open. Now, this is kind of the inverse of the idea of the firehouses. And the government not watching out for radiation on our behalf. These regulations that are probably going to make virtually no difference in our day-to-day lives are costing $447 million. And this was in 2013. Regulations that went into effect in 2013 cost Americans $112 billion, or $447 million for each of the 251 days the federal government was open. So this isn't even, what we've had, the regulations we've had in the past. This is new regulations that went into effect in 2013. And this is how they're bleeding us dry, majoring in the minors and minoring in the majors, spending money on things that aren't really critical, that are bankrupting us and interfering with our day-to-day lives, and then refusing to step in and take responsibility for the things that really they are responsible for. Here from ZeroHedge, numerous explosives discovered near Winter Olympics site. And we can certainly hope that and pray that the Olympics are peaceful, that wisdom will be given to the Russian officials, and that all of these kinds of explosives will be discovered before they can do any harm to life and liberty. Because, of course, explosions are typically used as excuses to take away our liberty incrementally. Here's an article from RT. It's actually a YouTube video from RT. Bank of America spied on anonymous activists ahead of Million Man March. And Million Mask March. And they actually, they did. They used their resources to track people who were on their way to the Million Mask March. So this is only a 1:09 video, and won't take that much time, so I'll just let you watch it instead of recapping it, which will probably take longer than you watching it. From Infowars.com, Saxo Bank CEO warns of collapse into totalitarian society. So evidently not all bankers are in favor of completely dominating and controlling humanity, because this man is concerned that we are going to lose the free market. And he's a smart man. He realizes that in the free market he can make money, and when humanity is completely controlled, only a few people possess any kind of significant resources financially. So, smart man. I hope that a lot of people listen to him and wise up. And from David Icke is an article, Representative Trey Gowdy of South Carolina calls to end Obama's reign, 30 push resolution. And it's a group of congressmen who are stating the obvious, that Obama has, just assumed too much power. And here's a blurb. Representative Trey Gowdy, Republican, South Carolina, is proposing that Congress take the White House to court over President Obama's actions. This would be done through a resolution that Representative Tom Rice, Republican, Georgia, proposed authorizing the House to sue the Obama administration. The resolution has 30 co-sponsors. Among the offenses Gowdy cited are Obama's deliberate decisions to ignore immigration laws, despite Congress not approving the changes. In addition, Gowdy also cited the arbitrary, at-whim changes to the Obamacare law and recess appointments of judges, even when the Senate was clearly not in recess. So, sadly, this is sounds like a Republican push, which is, it would be better if the Democrats were on board with this, because this is a question of rule of law, not a question of Obama is a Democrat, let's get him. If people can approach this as a rule of law issue, we will move one step closer to restoration of a constitutional republic where there is liberty and justice to be found for all. And an RT article on Chris Christie and Bridgegate, FBI and U.S. Attorney to probe bridge scandal looming over 2016 GOP hopeful Christie. I am not shedding any tears for Christie as we move toward the election, the next election period. I think he's a rhino, and if we can all just remember, anybody can stand up in front of a group of people and say nice words. There are psychiatric studies that have been done. These guys know how to win people over, and if we can be wise and see through some of their charades, we'll be better off. And maybe this is just, it's possible the Democrats are setting him up, exposing him, whatever, but I believe this is a real issue, and I think it just exposes, to some extent who he really is. Just in case you can't tell that by just looking at the man. Here's another article from the New York Times. Christie faces scandal on traffic jam aids ordered. Yeah, you can't mess with people. You can't just take over their bridges. It's those things are paid for with taxpayer money, and I'm stating the obvious, so I will move on. And moving into some more positive news. From Before It's News, Ohio refuses to enforce real ID standards. Great. Go Ohio. There's some freedom fighters in that state. And from Natural News, proof that energy medicine works. well, this article doesn't really offer proof that it works, but it does offer 5 reasons why you should care about energy medicine. And energetic medicine has to do with chiropractic and making sure that the electrical portals in your body are clear so that communication can take place and your body can heal itself more readily when the nerves are properly communicating with the spinal cord, with the brain, and with one another. This article actually, I think, is leaning more toward healing, toward addressing trauma, emotional trauma, and emotional issues. And that is also very crucial. So this point 3 here, don't ignore your inner voice. It is your higher intelligence speaking to you. To strengthen your ability to maintain a balanced lifestyle, the key is to develop daily practices like yoga to keep your energy centers or chakras well balanced. This will improve your ability to make healthy decisions in your life. Now, whether you believe in chakras or not, they're definitely, just based on study of the nervous system, there are energy centers in your body. And it is important to have peace. I mean, that is one of the great aspects of day-to-day health, is not walking in a lot of stress, which stress causes inflammation and causes you not to breathe deeply enough, not to have enough oxygen in your system. All sorts of issues arise with stress. And just a little bit more information on energy medicine. I know I've mentioned this before, but it really goes along with the Natural News article. German New Medicine. And German New Medicine is based on the idea that disease comes from emotional trauma. And this is, when I first learned about German New Medicine, it was really an aha moment. It's kind of like Joe versus the volcano. I knew it. I didn't know it, but I knew it. I knew that people became sick when they were under stress and emotional stress, emotional trauma. And this German New Medicine really quantifies it and also offers means of healing through reconciling emotional traumas, resolving emotional traumas. And this is just the home page, which really doesn't have a tremendous amount of information. But there are other tabs here that do. Paradigm, the 5 biological laws, and a lot of good information here that's free. And then, of course, there's also some, if you really want to get into it, the chart set. The charts show what areas of the body correspond to what types of emotional trauma. So if you want to learn more about energetic medicine, if you know people about energy medicine and emotional trauma, healing based on resolving emotional trauma, this is certainly a good place to begin. With that, I will thank you for tuning in for today's 99th Monkey Liberty News and wish you a pleasant weekend. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, experience blessing and prosperity, take care, and insist on liberty.